Well, Yogi Berra's famous saying, "It ain't over till it's over," couldn't be more appropriate than in the case of health care reform. The U.S. Senate this past weekend did move an inch closer to getting something done, but there's still a long way to go. Senator Jeff Bingaman is back in Santa Fe for the Thanksgiving recess. I asked him about the statement he made on the Senate floor that the average New Mexican family faces insurance premiums of more than $20,000 a year in a few years if nothing is done.
Well, that's the estimate. It's a ludicrous number. I mean, most families couldn't afford to do that, but the estimate is if you take the growth in the premiums for health insurance in recent years and you just extrapolate those out, that by about 2016, an average family of four in New Mexico would be paying over $20,000. Now, I think the Congressional Budget Office has said that if this health plan reform is adopted, it'll be more like $14,000 nationwide. Well,
that's still a huge chunk of money for the average New Mexico family.
Yeah, and the average New Mexico family today pays a little over $11,000 for a family of four for health insurance. So it's a very big item, and of course it's growing faster than virtually any other thing in your budget. One of the main purposes of this health reform effort is to try to rein in the growth in that cost, and we hope it's successful.
Why is health care reform such a partisan issue?
I don't know, frankly. We struggled mightily, and Senator Baucus, who's chairman of the Finance Committee, he deserves credit for struggling the most of any of us in trying to make it bipartisan. And we had this group of six, 3 Republicans, 3 Democrats, and we had 61 or 62 different meetings. And they weren't just meetings, they were, 2-3 hour sessions each to try to come up with something, and I thought we were making good progress. And of course, Senator Snowe from Maine did vote with us in getting that bill out of the Finance Committee, and then she did not vote to proceed to it on the floor because Senator Reed put this public option into the bill, which she objected to. I think that's the reason that she voted against it. But I don't know. I mean, I think there are some who are just ideologically opposed to anything that involves additional government regulation. There are some who are perhaps seeing it through a political lens and saying this is not a good thing to let President Obama succeed on if he's ever going to be defeated and if the Democrats are going to be defeated. As I say, there are some who genuinely think this is wrong-headed because of their opposition to the idea of the government dictating some of the terms of insurance policies.
But it can't be possible that a majority of their constituents are opposed to health care reform.
Well, I think it depends. Some of them who represent very conservative states, very Republican dominated states, I think probably do think that their constituents are strongly of that point of view. There are others whose constituents clearly favor health care reform. I think Senator Snowe is in that category. I think Maine in many ways is similar to New Mexico in that it's got a relatively poor population, very high health care costs for those who are able to afford them. And so Senator Snowe and Senator Collins, both of whom represent Maine, I think they would probably have most of their constituents wanting to see health care reform enacted.
Will this be top of the list after Thanksgiving?
It'll be the only item, I think, on the Senate floor, essentially. It'll be Senator Reed's going to begin the debate on Monday right after Thanksgiving, and we have the first couple of amendments being offered that day, and then the voting will begin, and we've got 3 weeks scheduled before we're supposed to adjourn, I think the 18th or 19th of December, and I hope by then we will have been able to get consensus to move ahead and pass a bill.
Are there 51 votes, do you think, for reconciliation? Can it go the reconciliation route?
Well, everything we've done so far has been designed to avoid having to go the reconciliation route and to instead pass a bill that we could get 60 votes to proceed with in the Senate. And that's what we're trying to do after Thanksgiving. Obviously, reconciliation is another option. It's not a good option. Many of the provisions in this current bill that Senator Reid has brought to the floor would not be able to remain in the bill if we did it through reconciliation. It would be a very much slimmed down hodgepodge kind of bill, and that would not be good.
But in the way of Washington, things happen incrementally many times, and there's a chance to change a provision or add a provision another year.
Well, that's true. That's very true. And if that's where we wind up, then that's where we wind up. But even the bill that we're considering on the Senate floor now is an incremental change. It's a significant reform, but it is not a throwing out of the healthcare system. It maintains the private insurance coverage that Americans have today and the ability of private companies to provide coverage in the future, and it tries to build on that.
Well, I bring up reconciliation because it's now been proven and established 100% that it's a partisan issue.
Well, it does seem very partisan. I mean, in the House, I don't think any Republican, no, one Republican, I guess, one Republican did vote for it. The congressman from Louisiana, I believe, voted for it. In the Senate, I hope we can get Senator Snowe and Senator Collins and maybe a few others to seriously think about supporting it and get it in a form that they think they could support.
Senator Jeff Bingaman, many thanks.
Thanks.